Bonsoir, hello, good night, hi, hello, how are you? Comment allez-vous, ça va? Super énergie, yeah! Merci tellement d'être là, thank you so much for being there. Okay. En termes de langage, de langue, les gens qui comprennent le français. People who speak English. So, on va partager entre les deux. It'll be a split. A bilingual show, but that's what it is. Hi. Bonjour. Alors, bienvenue au premier show de Throw Poetry au Théâtre Sainte-Catherine. Yeah, on est content! Yes, sir. Merci tellement de nous recevoir ici. Quel beau théâtre, merci. So, this year, or like today, we are reinventing poetry because that's what we do. Actually, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Claudia Lopez. Thank you so much for having me here. I'll be your host for tonight. Thank you. So yeah, on faisait les choses un peu différemment avant la pandémie et maintenant, encore dans la pandémie, on s'est réinventé. We reinvented ourselves because the government said, reinvent yourselves. Of course, the government wasn't thinking about poets, so fuck you, government, but whatever. Thank you for the free money. But, we're doing things a little bit differently. So we used to have points before when we were judging our poets that are coming to perform tonight. But now we've changed. On a changé le format. On n'utilise plus de points pour juger les poètes. Alors, est-ce que je peux avoir les juges, si vous pouvez lever vos panneaux? Are you est-ce que tu es gêné? Oui, ok, c'est correct. You're very welcome here. Thank you so much for doing this for us. So a round of applause for our judge here. Are you like in a team or is it only you? Oh, okay, it's both of you. Well, thank you for supporting each other. Thank you for doing that for us. So one team of judges, one team, and another team. Okay, great. Oh, and a third, fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4 juges qu'on a. Et ce qu'on va faire, c'est quand les poètes vont avoir fini de performer, les juges vont juger avec de l'art. We're judging art with art. Wow, such a concept. Only poets think about these kinds of things. Wow. So, après chaque poème, nos juges ici vont dessiner, vont s'inspirer pour montrer leur appréciation de chaque performance. Et on va voir, ça va être quoi que les juges vont nous montrer. Et au public, prêtez attention à qu'est-ce que les juges nous montrent, leur appréciation de la chose, because the judges' opinions will be very important at the end of the night. The best poet, in fact, every poet will win a prize. So, yeah, thank you so much for your contribution, judges. Thank you. And tonight we are notre invité, notre poète invité. What's the term in English? I just forgot. Like our feature poet. Our feature poet is Rachel McCrum. So very happy to have you here. I met Rachel like a few years ago in an international poetry show. Pardon? Oui, la Maison de la Culture. Yeah. And she's just so moving and great, and it'll be great. You'll have a great time with our feature poet and with all our poets too. So I have some notes here. J'ai des notes. Oh oui, aussi, pendant que les juges sont en train de dessiner leurs points, leur appréciation de chaque poème, j'ai quelques blagues à tester. I love plants. I'm sorry. And I wrote a few plant jokes, so you'll be telling me if I should keep them or toss them. We'll see. All right, so we'll be doing a first round of poets, and then we'll be receiving our feature poet. We'll have an intermission, and then we'll go with the second round of poets. This is going to be a very exciting night. I'm not sure if you're excited like me. Right. So.
Blood.
Oh, blood. Yes, but can I have the list of people to see whose blood it is? Thank you. That we'll have on stage but why blood? No, we're reinventing ourselves.
Sacrifice.
Yes, but like a sacrifice of love. C'est de l'amour qu'on va avoir. Alors, le premier poète, ou la première poète qui va venir partager avec nous, c'est vraiment pour nous donner un petit peu l'eau à la bouche, comment ça va être. Et on va l'écouter, on va recevoir, on va la juger, cette personne-là, son art. Et puis après ça, on va continuer la soirée. Merci beaucoup à notre premier artiste, our first artist that we'll be receiving on the stage. Please welcome with a big round of applause our poet. First poet sacrifice was sacrifice of love for Riley. I'm a sacrifice of love. Okay, all right. So I'm new to this, like for this year. So okay, all right. Please send me some love and some prayers too. Thank you. So let's sacrifice our first poet with a lot of love, Nguyen Dean. Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've done this, so I haven't really written a spoken word piece in a long time. So this is an old one. It's called Kim, and I haven't memorized it. This is about my cousin Kim. She was born the oldest daughter to my youngest uncle, and as per our Vietnamese tradition, being the baby boy, he was given both the privilege and responsibility of taking care of Grandpa's farm. So he left his place in classrooms, teaching vocabulary and multiplication tables, to foster our family's rice fields, and cashews, bean sprouts. His two parents and two daughters, to foster the family, I should have put a comma there. To foster the family, the rice fields, the cashews, the bean sprouts, his two parents and his two daughters. At my age, he met love at the fish market, in between the fresh columns of vegetables and among the tall rainbows of fruit. He met the noodle stand girl, not too far from the water's edge, and became the blunt of jokes with friends over beers. As he told them how he tried to find ways to pass by her noodle stand every morning. He eventually fell for the noodle stand girl, and Kim was the testament to it. Unlike me, Kim grew up with a family placed at her fingertips, cradling cousins, grandchildren, and eventually great-grandchildren. I always admired Kim for the way she seemed to knit emotions, even once helping me patch up the word family meant. But as it always goes, when love is just this visceral little expression of youth, she found hers at 15. So, leaving house and home, education, friends, and two very startled parents, Kim eloped. She held on to tragedy with her lips pursed and eyes closed on the back of a motorcycle. For months, she heard stories of the future, and in late nights, she drew landscapes traced in sand. Eventually, they returned to Grandpa's farm, bound by eyes, smiles, and flesh unique to just them. And in Kim's very fabric of love that she cut the outline of her passion for that boy, my uncle found his stretched and torn. The boy was a conductor of violence, currently repenting via years in a jail cell, because little did he know, his knife wounded more than the abdomen of his victim that evening. In that instant, my grandfather's farm housed 3 broken hearts, that of Kim, my uncle, and his love. When I met 20-year-old Kim for the second time, she was decorated with a scar across her cheek and the hushed tones of those around her. The weight of the world became apparent as the youth merged into reality, and she now feared the very hallways and classrooms that my uncle once taught. Feeling useless and outdated, paying an interest of apologies to those around her. But my uncle still ties little bows and ribbons onto the fabric of his daughter's life. This one's filled with promises and tells her every evening things will be all right. This one is wrought with worry and static with frustrations. But he always reties the ones he gave to her at birth. He finds little materials in early mornings and late evenings, in international relief, life savings, and the rest of the family. All to patch up the little holes in Kim's life, so the darling of his first love doesn't stumble because of hers. Thank you.
We're not doing points anymore. Can I? Or this is a time where you draw your points or your appreciation of the poem. Since we're not doing points anymore, can I say stuff about, or should I just? Okay. Okay. No, but I mean, like I was moved. I didn't want to. You're not supposed to influence judges by saying how you felt, but it's just like I felt stuff. And then, plus, because I feel a little, I wanted to say my first prank joke, but it's a little dumb, and I didn't want to ruin this beautiful moment that we just had. Okay. You tell me if I keep it or if I toss it. Okay. Before the lockdown, I was a mom of 3. Thank you. That's not the joke, but I mean, normally people are like, oh, yeah, okay, there you go. People are impressed. But now, I'm a mom of 7. Yeah. Plants. Because during the lockdown, those were the only seeds planted in my house. So, do I keep it or do I toss it? Thank you so much. Poets are so nice. Comedy people, they're so mean. Thank you. So, judges, are you ready? Est-ce que vous êtes prêts, les juges? Oh, I see. Oh, on a des artistes, vraiment. If you speak with your heart, you're an artist. Yeah, I know, right? It's beautiful. Oui, on applaudit les juges, Wow! J'ai pas vu au derrière, c'est quoi? But it's like minimalistic and you poured your heart into that line. Well, thank you so much. I guess the point is heart. There you go. For Nguyendi, thank you so much. Thank you. So, are you ready for this heartfelt competition? Audience, est-ce que vous êtes prêts à donner plein d'amour à notre premier poète? And this is for real, I'm going to read it. Oh, sorry, right? Disinfected, so, we're safe and all. There you go. I want everyone to stay alive. All right, so, on va inviter sur la scène notre premier poète, our first artist of the night for this competition. So please welcome, with a lot of love, Riley!
Strip, hit, release. This is the anatomy of a cigarette. You struggle with the lighter, half empty, flickering against the room, shadows of your fingers dancing, desperate for that burn. Burn. It starts with a burn. Starts with you and the fire. Wanted fire burn. Begin with flame, oxygen, tetrosyl, and breathe. First is the hardest, just like lying against you. Craving for the day, like chocolate but sweeter. And hold. Clenched eyes, smoke swelling inside you. You, who is the who and who comes into the who, dancing deaf and blow, fall against the wall, break yourself in corners, in spades, crush your head beneath your thighs, hold, fall like Virgin Eve, stick in mouth again, and puff the magic dragon, copyright. Guns and flies if kisses, gun guy, blow, bellow, billows, bellows, crawl, gasp, tear your hair and laugh. Just laugh, JK. Hold, fall, pick up sticks and jowls, and take a puff. Inhale, hold, 2, 3, exhale. Don't forget to love. Hold gold, hold spirits, prayers, and spells. Hold fall, promises and dreams, into wisps, wisps, wisps of smoke, dancing with your hair, sneering, whispering, taunting, gone, 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 but intangible ghosts of problems past. At Polaroid pictures hanging on the wall, bless us. Halfway through highway, hold, fall, burning cleanly like, or unlike, sex with you. Ashes pollinating the floor, fucking the dust. Flick off, flick on, and watch them fall. And smoke, my friend, love. Foam at lips, yes, because rage and wonder at how the Carabao can you live through another one, die. Sizzle out like you, drop it like, and step on it, crush it, grind it, kill it. Cigarettes are not people, they cannot be hurt by you. Count how many sticks are left, burn them all, burn and burn. Or give them to a homeless man. Charity begins at home, #yeah. Knock your head on the counter. Surgeon General's warning, dangerous to the health. Sometimes cigarettes, but mostly men. Thank you.
A round of applause for Riley! Thank you so much. I love this community. I love poets. Thank you so much. You know, on vit tellement de choses, comme du rire, puis après ça, de la réflexion, on est touché. Puis c'est juste vraiment le fun. J'adore la poésie. Merci beaucoup. Merci. Thank you so much, Riley. Thank you. Les juges, je vous laisse le temps de faire votre dessin. Est-ce que tu veux le faire ou bien c'est pas ton tour? Ah, c'est pas ton tour, d'accord. C'est toi la prochaine fois? Peut-être. D'accord. Merci pour le soutien. Pendant que les juges sont en train de... Une autre joke, ok. You know, I was writing my jokes and I was like, oh, I think I need to go to therapy parce que lots of issues came up. Ok. Alors, when I became single, I devoted myself to plants, you know. And my favorite one is called a snake plant. It looks good, it's really pretty, and it doesn't need a lot of care. It thrives on neglect. And then I realized, oh, that's what I was looking for in a boyfriend. So, do I keep it or do I toss it? Or do I call my psychologist? I don't know. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Judges, are you ready? Est-ce que vous êtes prêts? Oui. Wow. So intense. Oh, fire. Ici, c'est quoi en arrière, c'est quoi? Is it like Oh, okay. Someone's in crisis, okay. Et puis, notre dernière juge. Also, Okay, so inspired, a lot of fire, smoking. Okay, all right. Some people need a break, a cigarette break. Okay, that's okay. But thank you so much. So I guess the point for this poem is craving. Right? Okay, all right. Big round of applause for Riley. Thank you so much. And I forgot, when we welcome a poet to the stage, quand on accueille un poète, on fait une affaire, on dit 3, 2, 1, throw. Yeah. Still someone gathered. Let's keep that, because it's like full of love, right? So just like send all of your love to the next performer, for who I will clean this tool. So, give a lot of love to welcome Jupiter. 3, 2, 1, throw!
A letter on loss to my missing brother, dear Tim. I hate when people say your name. Invoke your spirit as if they have the power to do so, speak on you as if that's their right. It kills me the way everyone comes out the woodwork, pretending to have been your closest friend. Your name does not belong on their tongues. It sits on them like a rotten sacrament. They have no right to say your name, to come up to me and tell me, I'm so sorry for your loss, my loss. The language of grief is so lacking. Dear Tim, I did not lose you. And before you say it, no, I'm not in denial. I know all too well that you're dead. Since I'm the one who had to sit through the smell of rotting flesh that oozed from my heart as I felt every part of you that existed within me die alongside you, but I didn't lose you. You lost you and left me to pick up the pieces, leaving everyone who loved you in limbo, unable to mourn your death, yet unable to feel you alive, knowing that every day that passed was one less likely you survived, leaving us all to have to silently decide when you would become a was from an is, turning our tongues into the grave diggers. We can never know the day you died, just the day we killed you off in our minds. So no, I didn't lose you. When you put the gun in my hand, placed the barrel to your heart and forced me to pull the trigger, I didn't lose you. You made me into a murderer. So let's not obfuscate the blame here with language so incapable of holding the weight of the truth. Dear Tim, I'm so tired of losing you.
Thank you for sharing. Judges. So very awkward. I'm sorry.
You have another joke?
Yes, I do. I just wanted to honor, what just happened. Okay. All right. Okay. But again, okay. Oh, I can't remember it. It was maybe a good one. But my notes are right there. I'm coming back. Ooh, I didn't die. Oh yes, okay. Wild tobacco, its plant, recognizes insects by their saliva. Could you imagine if that's what we did? Hey Claudia, remember me? Ew, I know who you are, Mom. No? You'll keep it? What?
Workshop.
Oh, workshop. Okay, so work on it. keep it, but maybe not in that form. Like, just put other words all together in that joke. Except for you. Just kidding. Alright, so judges, are you ready? Est-ce que vous êtes prêts, les juges? Des cœurs. Yeah, je comprends ces sentiments-là. Just a heart, simple one. Another one here. Yeah. What healing? Yeah. So I guess the point for this is loss of words. Thank you, Jupiter. Thank you. Thank you for this moment. So now we are welcoming our featured poet to the stage. And can I read your bio? Pardon? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. You can. Yeah. You want to do? Sorry. I'm sorry. All right. So Rachel McCrum is a poet, performer, curator, and workshop facilitator. Originally from Northern Ireland, she lived in Edinburgh, Scotland between 2010 and 2016. She was the first BBC Scotland poet in residence and recipient of a Robert Louis Stevenson Fellowship. Featured poet. She has performed and taught in Canada, Haiti, South Africa, Greece, Scotland, England, and Ireland. In Montreal, she is a curator for the Atwater Poetry Project and co-director of Mile End Poets Festival. Yeah. She teaches youth and adults with poetry and voice, Elan, Artists Inspire, the Al Purdy A-Frame Association, and more. Thank you. I was looking for her approval, but because I really respect her and her works, I'm very excited to hear a lot of it tonight. Her first collection, The First Blast to Awaken Women Degenerate, Stewed Rhubarb Press, 2018, was published in a bilingual edition with Mémoire d'Encrier in 2020. Wow. As le premier coup de clairon pour réveiller les femmes immorales. Very exciting. Pardon? It's a mic. It is. but it's, I mean, lots of words, lots of good stuff in there, for sure. Her practice explores migration, displacement, and identity. She is currently working on a new collaborative show with composer Rachel Berman, wow, and on her second book, a collection on shame. Wow. So, powerful stuff. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Thoreau Collective, for inviting such great artists. Thank you so much for this space. Thank you for being here. So please welcome with so much love, Rachel McCrum.
Microphones have never been so clean. We were trying to work out, like, if you could get, you know, the fluffy muffs that you could get, and then you could one each, and you could bring your own muff night, or open muff nights. We're still workshopping it. Oh God, Rachel McCrum is very nervous, if I can say this. It's a stage, and it's people, and you came out on a Sunday night. You can applaud yourselves for that. Thank you, Thoreau. Thank you, poets. Thank you, everyone. This is going to be a mishmash, but we'll see how it goes. The words first appeared on a lamppost on a dirty road between a chip shop and some tired Turkish baths. They nestled amongst fat, careless splurges of paint and the neon screams of get thee fuck and nay future. This was in Scotland. Reading the phrase, passers-by smiled briefly and thought no more about it, but the words stuck themselves into the minds of the people on the bus. 2 days later, the handwriting was seen again on a wall along a cycle path, and then beside the hospital for sick children, and in a cafe toilet, and down near where the ships no longer came, and people began to repeat it to themselves in the early morning on the streets. The phrase swirled out. It appeared on the back of school books and on library desks. It moved beyond the city, was seen written on a rock on a beach full of leaving birds and on a bench beside a bus stop in a small grey town. It was seen carved down the curve of a mountain. The glassblower dances. As the word swelled, people began to talk. A feature was broadcast on the local news, and some were curious and searched for understanding on YouTube, removed, but enough to understand the rhythm that came through the feet from earth to breath to arm, the flow of skill, the exhausted, dogged passion that was required for the alchemy of changing dirt into something fluid, strong and beautiful. The words grew. And the city council talked of the cost of cleaning, but they could not calculate it accurately. And well-heeled sorts on a late-night sofa spoke of the shallowness of modern culture and lamented the loss of the canon. But the thing about a scratch is that you feel it. And sometimes it lets things in and they incubate and fester. And some academics wrote a paper on the socio-cultural intertextual significance of urban public expression. But it was rather long and only read by 8 people. Linguists spoke of sibilants, how they traced the brain with fingers of smoke. And historians expounded on the history of glass-making, how China, ignoring it until the 17th century, invented fireworks instead of windows. And the phrase didn't stop any culture wars, or billionaires flying to space on pseudo-penises. There were other words to try that job, and it was beyond this writer's ability at this time. But people smiled, and for a moment felt something in their chests had loosened and wondered about things that did not touch their lives. And all this happened because once upon a time, someone thought to write upon a wall with joy. The glassblower dances. So that was one of the first poems I ever wrote, and it was when I was just starting out in the spoken word scene in Scotland and Edinburgh, and it was sort of a love letter to what I was seeing was people getting up on stages and the words and the phrases that would snag and that people would talk about and be repeated and go elsewhere, and I thought it was fitting to open and celebrate the return of this, and the return of an audience sitting out there trusting that I'm going to say something vaguely interesting or resonant for them in the next while, and the trust that I have that you're going to sit there and listen, and even if you don't find anything interesting or resonant, you're going to lend me your ears anyway, so thank you for that. I think these things are all an act of trust, and I'm grateful. So this is a later one. This was, I don't know about the rest of you, I did not write a lot during the pandemic. That was not a creative time, that was a panicked, reactive time. And at one point I was like, oh God, I've got to start writing again. Like I've got to try and get the muscles working, you know, get some exercises going, some quick little bicep curls of poetry. And I cast out to some friends and I said, give me a word and I will give you a 45-minute poem. It will not be brilliant, but it will be 45 minutes, it will be written, it will be in response to you, and I will send it to you to be accountable to you. And one of my friends in Edinburgh went, high functioning. I thought, you bugger. But actually, it was interesting to reflect on what the fuck high functioning means, and by what standards we hold that to. High functioning, I perform my function, I carry out my function, I serve my function, I understand my function, I operate efficiently, I work effectively, I am in line with the standard, I go from the baseline, I achieve my goal, I do my job, I know my occupation, I fulfill my purpose, I achieve my tasks. Today, I do things in the right, proper, correct way. I am the norm. I am the median. I am the standard. I am the average. I meet the target. I hit the KPIs. I complete the metrics. I perform adequately. Complete the following. Blank is a function of blank, i.e., wealth is a function of experience. Mid-functioning. I go to the function. I function at the function. I carry out the action for which I exist today. I function barely. I am functional. No more, no less. I function minimally at the lowest required level. Complete the following. Blank are a function of blank, i.e. my personal problems are a function of my drinking. Low functioning. Why is my function not a function? Why is my function not outputting? Why is my function showing an error? Why is my function not completing? Why is my function not working? I function poorly today. I am out with the limits. I am below par. I am improper. I am abnormal. I am less than acceptable. I am destitute. I am deviant. I am maladjusted, defective, unfit, flawed. Tomorrow I will be more functional. Complete the following. Blank is a function of blank. For example, variation is a function of beauty. I drink considerably less than I used to. I'm 39, the hangover's hurt. I was really good at it. And I loved bars, and I loved pubs. It was Edinburgh. The pubs are excellent. The late night pubs are excellent. So I wanted to do a herald to late night pubs. For context, like with the word fag here refers to cigarettes. And the pub was the Royal Oak in Edinburgh. Last night ashore, I reel in to find you roiling in the oak, hidden behind your moustache, all set to clash pints with Ferlinghetti and Herbert Hunk. We celebrate the swirl of the world around a dirty plug hole and sink fast, fast, fast beneath our drinks. As riders to the storms of the world howl down the streets of homes, we batten down the hatches and toast to ourselves in kipper ties, no longer roaring, but sluggish as spittle. Salt-blicked, fag-ridden, battered souls and navel hats slipping, infatuated with indulgences, we cling to our wastings, too old for dancing raucous down the streets, we lean jaunty to the macadam, shantied and Shanghai, ballast long since gone. And I would do nothing else but fleece myself to celebrate last nights with you, my heavy love, but every blind drunk night has been our desperate laugh. This is a goodbye. This must be a goodbye. Our leaning, unspoken parting of the ways. For even if tonight we do not finally manage to jettison ourselves overboard, tomorrow we will still be flotsam corks on oily wash, cremola tipped and stretched, horizon high, and my love, I know you cannot swim. I worry about not being able to afford anything. I thought I'd get to 39 and be able to afford stuff, you know? And I can't. And that's shit. And I don't really know what's going on with that. Well, no, I do know what's going on with that. We all know what's going on with that. But it is a problem, and yeah. Je vais lire un petit poème entre français et anglais. Je vais essayer, anyway. Who wants a home? Qui désire une maison? Who wants a home? Hands up, heads down, don't look them in the eye. Qui désire une maison nue? Alors, ne faites pas d'enfants. Voyez-vous promener contre de telles fuites? Qui désire une maison? We do. Lower your chattering voices, ne prenez pas autant d'espace. Qui désire une maison? We do. Alors faites demi-tour, il n'y a pas de place ici, find your own. We do. Any old roof will do, one that does not billow, fold or falter, get soggy when it rains would be nice, but we'll take anything we can call our own. Nous désirons, nous nous souvenons des maisons visitées quand nous étions enfants, un parfum de porcelaine, de la poussière, des palmières dans les potes comme une jungle depuis des siècles. Extra chairs for visiting aunts and Christ, we thought we'd grow up in houses like this. We thought we'd grow up. Where are our paint samples and our permanents? Our trips to buy grout? Nous désirons, we do, we, the teetering ones, nous les instables, short-sighted, feckless, reckless and callow, les insouciants, les incapables, les imprudents, les bien bons à rien. Is this really our fault? Our squints, our greying hairs, our failing energy, our fear? Question. Do I have any step-parents in the house? Not a one. So lonely up here. I am a stepmother. I'm a stepmother to a 14-year-old now. Yes, Claudia. Thank you for that. A 14-year-old girl. Yeah. Yeah. That is a shit age. By the way, I'm sorry if you've got children who are going to go through that. It's going to be crap. And for everyone who made it through, congratulations. Yeah, step-parenting is weird. It's really weird. A lot of boundaries. A lot of learning about boundaries, which I have not historically been amazing at. Novice. Sniff the air. There, but for the grace of her, go I, and I am terrified for the day that this dawns on her. Approach without aggression. She's not my girl. Mine is not the lunchbox, the power, nor the glory. The terrible need to love the most, to be loved the most, is to be firmly adulted out. Know when to withdraw. One evening, watching silent lightning swarm in the clouds above the balcony, the sky cracked, too close, too bright, too miracle, and she jumped animal, kittened back into my arms. Extend a palm into space. Have faith. For the sake of love, risk being bitten. I very conscientiously brought a watch onto the stage. I did not look at it. I have no idea how long I've been up here. Claudia? Okay, anybody got any idea?
No, you're good.
I'm good, thanks. Thanks, David. Okay, I'll do 3 more. Okay. A Montreal poem. My only Montreal poem for the minute. So I first arrived over here, je suis arrivée 2017. And when I arrived, I got lost all the time, which you would think on a city built on a grid system should not be that difficult. But your grids do not run as grids should run, which you think is north to south. Your island is askew. It's tilted. In Montreal, the sun sets in the north. This is very confusing. So I got lost all the time. I would just walk confidently out of a metro station and then walk for 20 minutes in completely the wrong direction. But I was thankful that there was a street with my name on it, and that vaguely helped occasionally. And also my French was terrible, and yeah, I couldn't really speak very much. I lost my shoes on Rachel Street. I lost my shoes on Rachel Street. Head lolled back to rest against the pillow of the mont, kissed the foot of the electric cross, tongue kinked, jawbone clattering to the pneumatic dentistry on Saint Denis. I lost my grip on Rachel Street. The length of me flopped to smother the aloof and watchful city. My arms, heat heavy, bisected the grid. Wrists came to rest on the fretful bridges. I thrust my hands to trail the sludge of the river bottom, rested my ankles between the railroad tracks, rolled dust between the enormous cratered blisters on my toes. I lost my skirt on Rachel Street. The breeze whipped it as if caught in the slipstream of a passing skater, his fingers edging under the hem, as violating as a muttered curse. I watched it float softly across the highway where every town genufluxed down, took a shine to the church's thrust, considered commerce's glint, but in the end took the Olympic Stadium as a lover, ever the sacred athletic aesthetic perfected performance of the wordless flesh preferred. Speak, they whispered on Rachel Street, but a dog had run away with my tongue. The city, the shape of a kiss, an open mouth, and I unable to name my neck from my ass. All summer long I lay on Rachel Street, my raw elbows twisting to touch treetops, stuck high and dry on side streets. I winked at traffic lights, shook creamy thighs to the wind-up wail of the fire truck. Speak, they commanded on Rachel Street, as the ducks drifted, silent and unified as iron filings in the park. Gullible yahoos googled me digital, could never snap me all at once. The whale balloon tethered, the ballet of the open mouth moving. Speak, they howled on Rachel Street. I licked my salty lips, mouthed silent curses, these fat and heavy words that filled the mouth with spit, but nothing uttered. All summer long I lay on Rachel Street, as horses tramped through my hair, as copper ants and raccoons scurried out of the warm hairy musk of my nostrils, the moist nest of my armpits used for the meetings of clandestine lovers. Speak! They screamed on Rachel Street. Fire hydrants exploded with joy, spilled their strawberry load, and still, stuttered, gasped, gaped. No words, no words, no language. Falling between meaning like cracks in the tarmac. So piece by piece on Rachel Street they stripped me for spectacle, magpied me, pulled out my hair to stuff winter jackets, jacked up my teeth for paving slabs, lashed my skin to ribbons for balcony umbrellas, toenails for boat races, and my eardrums extracted for the tam-tam's weekly prayer. I lost my name on Rachel Street. My wallet, my work ethic, my virtue, my childhood fears, my tongue. My tongue began to move, to flick when everything else was nearly gone, and we had been silent long enough, the ones who lay heavy in the street on Rachel Street. We dug in our heels, we lumbered to our feet on Rachel Street, kicked aside the railway tracks, and on Rachel Street we lifted our tongues, we opened our mouths. We roared, and with those waves of sound we tilted the city, cetacean gulping, we sank the silence. So I am grateful to be here in Montreal, in Tiohtià:ke, les territoires non cédés, autochtones, of the Kaninga and other people, to acknowledge them. I'll do two more for you. I work a lot, or certainly with this book, I was working a lot with voice and protest and feminist protest and things going forward. And there's an amazing performance by an artist called Kubra Kadimi called Armor, which took place in Kabul in 2015. And she was born to Afghani parents, grew up in Iran, went back to Kabul to make art, and after this artwork had to move to Paris. And the artwork was, she's a performance artist, she got a local blacksmith to create a suit of armour. It was a breastplate and a front and back with sort of exaggerated breasts and buttocks that she wore over hijab, and she wanted to protest street harassment in Kabul, which at that time she could do to some degree. And there's a video on it in YouTube, and I recommend looking it up. It's phenomenal. She hoped to be able to take a walk down the street for a while, and it lasted 8 minutes before they chased her to the car. And the BBC reported it as iron underwear stunt goes wrong. My underwear was made of iron. On a street with chewing gum welded to pavements and rubbish bins and dogs and dust and wire fences and raindrops and men like any street. A skirt or a pair of breasts, or let's say a crate of oranges, was slowly making its way, wearing a school's bridle made of iron and a witch's collar made of iron, with the metal spikes facing both out and in, and a chastity belt made of iron, and a steel-boned corset reined in tight, a suit of rigid homespun armour that clanked and drew attention and held protection and rebuke in each hand, like the severed fiberglass breasts of a shop window mannequin, or a sliced forehead, or a broken jawbone. What can't get out also can't let anything in. This is how we break butterflies, they said. The crate of oranges kept walking. In its steel hide, kept walking. I shall finish up. A huge thank you to Throw. It is an honour to be the featured poet, the poète invité pour la première spectacle. I wish you a fantastic season. I will be dying to see more and more and more. To all the poets who came out and the poets who have got up and read. I don't know where you are at the back, but to the poets who read the first poem of the evening, huge congratulations to you, because that was stunning. And to break this stage wide open, I'm very grateful to you. Soraya and Jupiter, I look forward to hearing more. Thank you to the theatre, thank you to St. Catherine, thank you to you all for being out there. So this book is the first class to awaken women degenerates, le premier coup d'éclairant pour réveiller les femmes immorales. I'm going to dedicate this poem to a couple of people. I'm going to dedicate this poem to François Legault. I'm going to dedicate this poem to Simon Jolin Barrette. I'm going to dedicate this poem in a massive fuck you to their Law 2, which they're trying to bring in at the minute. Do you know about this yet?
Yeah.
Good. We're going to need to get out and protest that, because it's bullshit. So this is for them. I look forward to seeing you on the streets. For women, for all women out there. 1558, John Knox wrote a text. Didn't like women coming in. The first blast of the trumpet against the monstrous regiment of women. And therefore I say that of necessity it is that this monstiferous empire of women, which amongst all enormities that this day do abound upon the face of the whole earth, is most detestable and damnable, be openly revealed and plainly declared to the world, to the end that some may repent and be saved. This is the first blast to awaken women degenerate. The trumpet sounds. All the monkeys are grooming themselves bald in the zoos. Women slither out from gutters and under street lamps, down from bedsits and from behind garden fences. Foil sail unfolding, irresistible as empty crisp packets on pub table women who sink a bottle of red and rage with wine lips, women, fury unleashed, women in stomping, sweating, hordes of women, ranks amassing women. Give me gorilla women and bear women, penguin women and wolfhound women, blue whale women and badger women, yeti, yak and bison women. Give me caribou women and bone women, bite back, beefy women, not your bird women, not your sparrow, crow or wren women, but flamingo women and peacock women, eagle women and pelican women. Give me unnatural women, deranged women, moving, drumming, howling women. Give me mobs of women, chow down on misery women, seismic cunt women, bloody pushy women like a 2 a.m. army's march through the veins women. Give me ruling women and yelling women. Give me unsilent, unwatchful women. Give me monstrous women on the pavements of Cologne women, London women, Tahrir Square women, Belfast women, Cape Town women, Glasgow women, Quebec women, before the second trumpet sounds, before the monkeys can groom themselves bare and repent, before the streets can fall dark and silent and damned. Please give me my monstrous regiment of women.
Rachel McCrum! Thank you, merci tellement pour votre écoute. Thank you so much for just sharing this moment. Thank you so much, Rachel, again. Allez suivre la page de Throw Poetry pour aller voir sa biographie et aussi retenir le nom de son livre. So just go on the event for tonight to know remember what her book is, and go and purchase it. Encourage local artists, and just make the world better. So we're ready now for a 10-minute pause. Une pause de 10 minutes. MC, oui? Okay, 10 minutes. Okay, so go and give in to your cigarette craving, go and pee. Go and buy some delicious food and drinks from the venue. I just had some of their cookies. Leurs biscuits, c'est vraiment bon. Leurs pâtisseries sont bonnes. Leurs boissons sont bonnes. Alors, on se revoit dans 10 minutes. We back in 10 minutes. Thank you so much. Bienvenue, welcome back. Did you have a nice break? No? Okay. Pas d'énergie, no? Did you taste the food? No? Oh, okay, that's okay. Well, I had some more cookies. They were delicious. I had the last white chocolate matcha cookies. Delicious. You should have some, buy some, whatever. But yeah, delicious. Thank you so much for being here, for coming back. Merci de revenir. Alors, il nous reste 2 poètes pour la deuxième ronde. We have 2 last poets for the second round. So yeah, thank you to the poets for coming and sharing with us your art, pouring out your heart on stage. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. Thank you to our judges. Thank you. Thank you to our featured poet. Thank you so much. Merci de rendre cette belle soirée. I mean, so many things, but for real, like, I appreciate very much my night. Thank you so much. So, let's welcome to the stage our first poet of the second round. Alors, accueillons cette poète avec 3, 2, you know? Alors, plein d'amour, lots of love for Shelly. 3, 2, 1, throw!
I'm really, thank you. Okay, this is starting off great. So yeah, I'm Shelby, and I have to admit, this is like, I did not know I would be on the stage tonight, and this is my first time ever doing any sort of like performing poetry. Thank you, you're so kind. So I'm just here to tell you that like I'm not sure if I've done it correctly for spoken word, because this is like straight from my basement to this microphone. So yeah, like adventure, right? Punk rock poetry. All right. So this poem, it's called The Hole. You come to a hole in the road. It stretches as far as the eye can see. Throw a rock down it, and you won't be able to hear when it hits the bottom. It's the hole you dug when you gave so much of yourself to other people, hoping they would love you if you did. But they didn't, because people don't work that way, though you wish so much they did. You were a child who did not get the love you needed. So when other kids were being told how great and wonderful they were, their cups filling up with love, yours was empty, like seedlings sprouting from a garden you were planted too close to the wall, and the sun nor the water reached you. But you still grew half-formed into this thing, and though you try so hard to flourish with others, they have something you don't, and it's not fair. It feels like you have to take on more responsibility for yourself than others, while they have someone to tell them they're doing their best. You have to tell that to yourself. You have to tell that to yourself, that you love yourself, and you have to mean it every single day. And it's hard, but you have to do it, because if you don't do it, you're going to wither away, and the others will keep on growing without you. If you do it, you will grow too. You will never grow like them. You will grow differently, and they will hate you for it. But it won't matter, because you will have something they don't, the ability to not need anyone, to listen to your own heartbeat and dance to it.
Lots of love for Shelly! First time! Thank you so much! And really, like, there's no right or wrong way to do poetry, que la poésie, c'est vraiment, you share a piece of yourself, and that's what poetry is. Alors, merci tellement. Thank you so much, Shelly, for sharing with us. Thank you. Yeah! So, while our judges are drawing their appreciation, plan joke. Okay. I read that plants can sense when they're in danger, and they protect themselves by making an insect-repelling poison. I do that too. It's called daddy issues. Merci. Keyboard toss. qu'on la garde ou bien... Hein? Ouais? Yes, no? It's very, I mean, you're not sure, right? Okay, so... It's too close to home, yes, for sure. I know, that's why, like, I read my stuff afterwards, I'm like, oh, I have issues, whatever. Anyway, so this is not about my therapy session today. This is about the judges, les juges. Est-ce que vous avez vos dessins de près, votre art de près? No, not ready yet. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. We'll wait. Thank you so much. Merci. So, we have, I see. Oh, okay. So, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Alors, moi, je dirais que le point pour ce morceau d'art, c'est growth. Right? Growth. Okay. Good. All right. Yeah. So, we have our last poet of the second round. Accueillons. Oh, yeah. Why did I forget? Okay. Alors, accueillez chaleureusement, with lots of love, our poet, Raisa Simone. 3, 2, 1, throw!
Hey y'all, before I jump into the poem, I'm just so goddamn excited to be here. I miss throw so much. I miss poetry, I miss the vulnerability, I miss seeing people just sharing their hearts on stage. So yeah, this is rad. I can't wait till we do it again. Yeah, I'm gonna drop a poem for you. The echidna is the only mammal that can survive a wildfire. Wildlands who are poor, the echidna can live without sustenance and emerge after the environmental threat has passed, malnourished, but alive. He will carve you, a wooden cutout of your old cat and your snake named Buster. He will take you to an Indian restaurant and say that he sees years of summer in your spine, a bathtub of tea in your toe steps. He is as red as the men before him who were roses and exploded to the point of music. Red as men who stitch wood to skin, red as men who bullet flesh to promise. And he is as red as the men who split your teeth open. He is as red as the men who purpled your skin. And so when he calls you screaming, you don't hang up the phone. The echidna hums in reassuring tones, and your stomach nests nutrients in preparation for natural disaster. The echidna's adaptive insides quiet, the brain's reaching for food, for water, for touch, for tender. The echidna has lived in this forest for a very, very long time. And the sky watches the echidna and says, men who set themselves on fire cannot keep you warm. He may look like the sun, but wolves have always conned sheep with cop clothing, and girl, you know this. You don't have to eat dust to inhabit this earth. And if he needs to hunt something, let him be both the spider and the fly. You are the sky, and your fidelity is only to the sparrows. Tell him, you can only love the sky by letting it be blue, by letting it rise to crescent and sigh a morning to the planet. But he tried to catch the sky in a butterfly net, as if by setting enough fires a tree would snap, and oak and tenderness smoke from her trunk. So boy, don't ask for her hand unless you can match its lines to the mountains. And a grasshopper laughs and says, you self-harm by falling in love with men who spit on women for parting our lips. And what if you stopped, splitting limbs off your body, so better to reach everyone? Don't you know that a quilt is knitted to be touched whole? Why do you rip leaf blades branches for men who would not place their palms to your bark. And then I say, well, the saddest thing is that the sky cannot see herself. Isn't that terrible? And the sky turns to the fire and says, do you know how lonely it is to be made out of everything? To know that everyone who looks at you can only see 1/1000th of your body, and the sky says, I am sorry. I am sorry that when you reached for my hands, they were just rain. And that I could never keep track of time because I spend my days pacing the sun. I am sorry that I'm only red in October and can only cradle a wildfire for miles, and I am really only good for staying when giant men set their eyes to me to pray, and he looks away and he says, should we call it off? And the sky says, I guess I'm just not very good at being a girlfriend.
Simone! Our last performer of the night, thank you so much. So, while our judges are drawing, being judges, being judgy, never, thank you. It's true, it's just appreciative. You're being appreciative. Thank you so much. Thank you. Merci de faire le travail que vous faites, les juges. Merci. So for you, okay. What do you call a jungle where wait. What do you call a jungle where the animals talk about current events?
What?
A topical rainforest. This is very awkward because it was the less emotionally charged joke that I had because I took it from the internet. So now you know.
Give me your comedy card.
Thank you. Internet. Okay. What? No, that's okay. I just wanted to come clean with it. But j'ai compris le message. C'est correct. Merci. Je vais consulter. Judges! Oh, it's ready. Thank you. Merci. Oh, okay. Je pensais que c'était like no words, okay? Okay. Merci. Thank you. Okay, well, it's okay. So the point is called seasons. Yeah? All right, well, thank you. And seasons were racist Simone, yeah. So, c'est la fin de la soirée. J'aimerais appeler, parce que là, on va donner des points. En tout cas, poets are going to win prizes. And for them to win prizes, I would like for all the poets who performed in the competition to come up here. Is that what we're doing? MC?
Amateurs first.
Okay, yeah. So, okay. People or poets who, it was their first time on stage. We had one, but is there anyone else? Okay, so, yeah, can you come here? Or it's only one? No, two. Yeah, okay, yeah. Thank you so much. So it's Jupiter and Shelly? Shelby. Oh, yeah, sorry, okay. So our point was no words and growth, yes, sorry. So let's do an applausometer. And first, thank you so much for sharing your poetry and for sharing yourselves on stage tonight. A big round of applause for our poets. Merci beaucoup, thank you. So let's have a round of applause for No Words. And another round of applause for Shelby for growth. Okay, so you both win a prize. But I mean, because the thing is, sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh no! I dropped the prizes. They're not broken though. They're very beautiful. So we have origami. Oh, we have a crystal too. Oh, this is a beautiful brooch of a bird and cards and more origami and a shell. Like I was like, okay, I'm taking on this home, but okay, whatever. Oh yeah, a crystal. It's a rock. And he's like, the winner can choose the first prize, but I mean, you're both winners, so you can both choose at the same time. Oh, it's of course like I know you. I mean, dude, you're so nice. J'adore cette communauté. Les gens sont tellement gentils, pour de vrai. So, go ahead. Yay! So Shelby chose a beautiful origami animal. Thank you so much. C'est qui l'a fait? Who made these? Halogen. Thank you so much, Halogen. Wow, they're really, really pretty. So small, very, very, very beautiful. And oh, the rock. It's a kyanite. It's a crystal or it's a rock? Do you know? Okay, but congratulations and thank you so much. But please stay here because then we're gonna do an overall poet appreciation. So can I have Riley and Teresa Simone on stage, please? Yeah, we can. I'll put up the video. Let's do the applause-meter, right? Like, let's do things in order, right? So, for Raisa Simone, seasons. All right. This is for the overall poet appreciation. For No Words. For growth. And for heart, right? Alright, so yeah, comme on pouvait le prévoir, you all win. So you can all choose at the same time. Oh wow, so much love here, shared. Dinosaur, by the way.
I will take the bird for that.
Oh, the bird brooch. And then, do you want another prize? No, okay, alright. I'll take the rest. Thank you. This is all mine. Thank you. So, thank you so much to our poets for tonight. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. You can go back. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And merci maintenant à tout le monde. Merci à vous, public. Thank you so much to you, the audience. Thank you so much for being here, for taking the time, for paying the fees. Thank you so much. Thank you to the venue too, au Théâtre Sainte-Catherine. Merci. On veut une bonne belle applaudissement. Le staff, la nourriture. Merci pour l'accueil. Thank you to Throw Poetry Collective for putting all this together. Thank you so much. Yay! And then we'll see. Oh no! Oh, I have something to play. Okay. C'est juste en français, par exemple. It's just in French. I'm sorry. I'm doing a comedy show. No, it's not vegan. Oh. Huh? Yeah, keep. No, but I will be talking about my many other issues, so it'll be good. Le 10 novembre au Théâtre La Comédie, so c'est proche c'est proche d'ici, mais c'est pas ici. Très dommage parce que c'est beau, mais là-bas aussi c'est beau. Puis vous pouvez aller voir sur lacomédie.ca ou bien sinon vous pouvez aller sur ma page d'artiste Claudia Lopez Artiste. Et voilà, vous allez sur Facebook ou Instagram et puis il y a le lien pour les billets si jamais vous voulez venir mercredi le 10 novembre. Alors c'était tout, that's it. Thank you so much for being here and the next month. So keep yourself informed on Throw Poetry Collective page, Facebook page to know when the next Poetry Slam is. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks so much, eh?